Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Realmverse Podcast. I am your host, the Big Head Bear, and this is the End of August 2022 update.
The Realmverse Podcast.
First and foremost, before we get into the news, the Adventures of the Void started arriving in Realms yesterday. I just wanted to take this time to say to Jonah, Topper, DeFi, and all the mods who've handled the mass arrivals in the Discord lately, congratulations. Myself, anyone who has ever built or created something, whether it was art, a business, their own body, a book, or even a program, knows there are a lot of nights where you doubt yourself. You wonder if you've wasted all this time, if everyone is going to think that your creation is terrible. They may be fleeting thoughts, but still they feel like they pierce your soul to the deepest part. So I want to truly say, from the most honest and vulnerable place that I can, all the time, doubt, sacrifice, and depression and joy were worth it for you guys. What all of you have shipped and given to us is an absolutely beautiful and amazing product so far. It's an amazing piece of technology that showcases all of the time and effort that went into it, and also a love for making sure people have a great time. So Jonah, Topper, DeFi, all of the mods, thank you all for this creation and this piece of gaming that you've given us so much. Let's dive into the news. The winners of the August prizes have been announced. Remember, it was one small and one squire for first place in each tier, and a squire each for second and third place. It was a long, hard-fought competition that came down to the very, very, very end. We had some realms in the lead for a long time during the month. We had some changes, some movement in Tier 3. It all came down to the last 24 hours. We had a lot of movement, but at the end of the day, in Tier 1, the winner, the Realm of Arbitrum. It's Arbitrum with like a Jersey accent, Arbitrum. In second place, we had I Am the Captain Now, and in third, we had Broomland. Congratulations to all of you. Tier 2, right at the end, the Garrison was in the lead most of the month, but right at the end, the Land of Borat. Land of Borat, congratulations on your small. Buxton in second, and the Garrison in third. Tier 3 was an apocalyptic event. We saw so many changes, scores over 2,000s, different realms consolidating. Clearly, realm owners moving all their assets around to try to get that small boy or small girl. At the end of the day, at the very top of the tier, taking home the crown of Tier 3 and a small was Yuzion 2. Congratulations. Still can't pronounce it. Came and finished in second. And Simbiboxland finished in third. So congratulations to all of the winners. It was a lot of fun watching this. There was a lot of movement in Tier 1. The Realm of Arbitrum and I Am the Captain and Moon Bubbles were all duking it out until Arbitrum came through. Dropped about 1,000 population at once, and everyone else bowed out. So congratulations to all of the winners. It was a lot of fun to watch. Prizes, if they are happening, a world event for next week has not been announced yet, but we will keep an eye on it and update you as we go along. So congratulations to all of the winners of the August competition. Thank you for participating. Harvester Refineries Tier 4 through 6 have officially started competition and production. They minted out in about 48 hours. It was beautiful to see. We have 50 Tier 4s, 20 Tier 5s, and 19 Tier 6s. There will only be roughly one diamond rank in Tier 4 through 6 because it's 5% of the competitors, so only about one. So get ready. It has started. Competition has been heating up. There are already Realmers establishing themselves in the lead, so take a look. Again, as a reminder, The tier 4 through 6s can be burned at the end of the month for the full amount, and they are based off of the structures you build, population boosts used, and collectibles consumed. And renown when it comes into play. The leaderboards will be reset every single month. And as of right now, magic emissions and percentage has not been revealed, but we will update as soon as we have that. So if you got a tier 4 through 6, go stake it, and let's get fired up. Big news. As of right now, whitelist mint and public mint are both live for Adventures of the Void. The cost is 0.069 ETH, and you can also buy an AOV in the Trove Marketplace. Remember, whitelisted are soulbound, which means you will need to pay the mint cost to be able to trade or sell your Adventure of the Void. So keep that in mind. I don't want to go into detail, specific detail on how everything works in Adventures of the Void. There's great information in the documents that I will link below, as well as Topper from the team has made some great YouTube tutorials for the UI, so I will link those in the description as well. To try to sum it up as best as I can, however, simply, you pick a class and then a variant. You choose a profession and distribute your skill attributes. Explore realms, your own or others, to capture particle. Then use that particle once captured to go on quests so you can capture anima and increase your character's XP and skill attributes by questing. If you gain enough anima, you can transcend your variant to the next level, where you will get to re-choose your profession again, and other perks will come along to be unveiled. So in a nutshell, pick a class and a variant, choose a profession, distribute your skills, explore realms to capture particle, use particle to capture anima and increase your XP and skill attributes, use anima to transcend. Jonah has hinted that particle and anima will have other uses as well. However, those are under alfalfa coverage right now. So if we find those out, we will make sure that you know as well. We will continue to provide all of you with more information on Adventures of the Void and their evolving leaderboard. Yes, they do have a leaderboard, and their mechanics as they progress. I did just want to list a few tips for realmers or people that have adventures. A few tips. You only have to capture or collect your particle every 7 days. You don't have to restake. So basically, it's fill your pouch with particle, capture it, start over. A minimum of 7 days. You can explore a realm and quest at the same time. So do not stop exploring if you are questing. However, still keep an eye on the 7-day accumulation period. As a realmer, if you own a realm and you have adventures exploring it, you only receive your share of particle as a realmer when the adventure captures it. So keep that in mind. If you are banking on other adventures coming to your realm to adventure, you will only receive that particle when they capture it. So you will not have it on demand ready to collect whenever you want. It must be done by the Adventure of the Void. The new UI is absolutely beautiful. I love how the team is starting to separate the Adventures of the Void and the realm functions and benefits, just so that we understand they are a little bit unconnected. While they work together, they are separate economic game loops. We want to start thinking of them as separate pieces of the game with their own function. And it seems now, with the way you interact with adventures and realms on the UI, that is starting to be done. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. Great job by the team. I'm really excited to see that. If you want to check out the UI, again, check out Topper's tutorial video, or get yourself a realm or an adventure. It's the easiest way to see it. I don't want to spend hours going into all of it, but please feel free to go to the app and play around. One more thing, a piece of news. Nitro has officially shipped and Realm has migrated over. Should see cheaper gas fees, which is always nice. Not down far enough quite yet where you'll be able to probably support massive millions of players, but this technology, we're progressing, we'll get there. Teams just got to keep working. So awesome upgrade to Arbitrum and Nitro should help the game evolve and grow as time goes on. One more note I just wanted to put forward. Last podcast, I said that there were only 2 legends in the Realm Discord, but that is untrue. There are 3, Max Wave, Memer Berries, and Soma Somo. So on behalf of all Realmers, we recognize your 3, your legendariness. Some would say godliness, but we're not quite there yet. So let's just call it legendariness. So Soma Somo, I apologize. Thank you for being one of the OG Realmers, and I believe the owner of the highest natural resource realm in all the land. So congratulations. Just wanted to acknowledge that mistake. Memers, Maxwave, and Soma Somo are the Realm Legends. On August 30th, 2022, there was roughly 24 hours left of the Prime Convergence. Realmers had been toiling for roughly 2 to 3 weeks at this point, transporting massive collectibles all the way to the Prime Convergence, as far as it needed to go. Hundreds, thousands, nay, millions of miles these Realmers were transporting these collectibles, all in the name of having a shot at using their preferred geo features to build. Aquatic had gotten out to a lead early in the month by a donation from a random Realmer and held a roughly 1,500 contributed collectible lead over Tech and Earthen. It was not close. The people watching by the sidelines kept saying, this can't go on forever. Should we give up? Does Aquatic win? But 24 hours remaining, things started to change. We saw a quick push by Earthen contributing 7, 8, 900 collectibles, pushing their total up into the range of the thousands. We had been watching the technology Realmers stacking combustion, stacking common collectibles. When would they play it, we said? We were not sure, but we knew it would be coming. And then, suddenly, out of nowhere, 2,000 plus collectibles got dropped at once. It was mayhem. The Discord, the Realmers were going bananas. They didn't know what to do. Is this it? Would anyone compete? Had we just seen the ultimate power move performed by Tech? The answer was for a little bit. Earthen mounted a comeback, contributing 10 more total collectibles than what Tech had. It was beautiful. Tech contributed just enough, so they were exactly tied. We had a tie going into less than 12 hours remaining in the Prime Convergence. All in the name of changing the Realmverse. All in the name of leaving their mark on history forever. Aquatic, Tech, Earthen, battling it out. Let me build. Let me feel what it's like to be at the top. And it was a battle. In the end, publicly acknowledged, behind the push for technology was the Money Guild. And the Money Guild never stopped manufacturing. In the end, with a score of 4103 to 3790, technology has taken the Prime Convergence. So congrats to the Money Guild. Congrats to technological geo holders and realmers all over the lands. May you enjoy the spoils of your war. Aquatic and Earthen, your time will come again soon. And next quarter, we shall prepare for another bloodbath that is the Prime Convergence. It's time for Paralysis by Analysis. Alrighty, Realmers, let's take a look at some of these numbers here. Continued a steady stream of new users this last 2 weeks. According to Dune, we added roughly 13 new settlers to our land. I'm sure that number will spike as soon as the AOV numbers come in. Also had a nice stable monthly users, stayed stable from last month, almost exactly the same. So it's nice to see that Realmers are staying interacting and we're slowly growing over time. Thank you. Thank you to all the old Realmers. Thank you to all of the new Realmers. All right, let's take a look at the trade economy currently being done and hosted through the Trove Marketplace. So let's take a look. Realm sales volume has dipped a little bit last month while transactions were up. Keep in mind, all of these percentages and numbers I will give are on a 2-week gain compared to the last 2-week period. Overall, we saw a nice spike across the board, the end of the month, people getting ready to build. Within the trade economy, collectible, we saw about an 80% increase in collectible transactions, 121% increase in city sales, APR sales and transactions were down, as well as were refinery sales and transactions. But that is to be expected as people were preparing new strategies. So, however, at the end of the day, across all of the volume, we had a nice 17% increase in sales volume. So it seems that people are coming in. The price is rising a bit. And also in total transactions in the trade economy, we had an increase of 64% from 710 in the last 2-week period to 1,200 in this 2-week period. So people are definitely seeing. Realmers are definitely moving their assets around. The market seems to be very healthy. Definitely a dip in the middle of the month and then a push up at the end. We will see if this cycle continues. And as I get more data, I will also provide 30-day gain loss traction as well as the 2 weeks. On the marketplace, most earthen collectibles, especially the top exotic, mythic, legendary, peaked into, or dropped, I should say, into the negative 30-day inflation rate as we were coming towards the end of the month due to the massive builds that were happening with people getting in earthen. We've also seen now tech collectibles, their inflation rates start to dip off as people start to burn. There's not too much going on in the marketplace. It's pretty simple right now. The collectibles, the collectible categories with sinks tend to do obviously better, whatever the prime collectible is, and nourishment seems to be humming merrily along. People still buying wine, chocolate, and coffee. People, of course, still buying the commons and uncommons, but in every collection, it seems that Realmers are starting to trend more towards the higher-end collectibles, as would be understood. However, there are still a healthy amount of towns getting built. So for the trade economy, seems that Realmers are healthy. New Realmers are coming in, hopefully going to have some more data, more data. But compared to the 2 weeks where we saw a slight decrease in activity, we saw a massive bump in trade activity this month. The trade economy is humming. Let's look at the production and consumption economy within the Realm app. It was a big month, big 2 weeks of building. Compared to the last 2 weeks, we saw a 28% increase in collectibles produced. Last 2-week period, there were 20,000 produced. This 2-week period, there were 25,000. So we saw a big boost in production. We also saw a spike in collectibles being consumed. We saw a roughly 72% increase in collectibles consumed. Almost all of that jump is from the Prime Convergence. However, if you take that away and you don't count the Prime Convergence, it's still a small spike, but more of a 10% spike versus a 72% spike. Massive spike in population boosts. About 3.5 times the amount of population boosts used in this 2 weeks than the last one. Again, end of the month, people are getting their numbers in. Way more cities built this month. We had an increase of 33% of collectibles used to consumed for building cities. Again, a lot more heavily leaning into Metropolis and Met 2s and City 3s, especially the past 2 weeks. We've seen a heavy migration to Realmers pushing for bigger cities, bigger structures, better ability to add more population for those adventures. So definitely seeing a spike in building and also the level of city structure built. Last but not least, there was a nice boost in magic contributed for production that I believe goes back to the Realm Treasury. this 2-week period, 16,000 Magic collected, a 35% spike over the past 2 weeks. Congratulations to the team. Realmers, good job paying your tithe to produce your consumables. Overall, the economy is humming along. One of the big numbers, the total collectibles consume percentage, had a small spike up to 77 from 74 to 75 that it's been sitting. It's my opinion that this is one of the big numbers to pay attention to for the next round of portals and being able to produce collectibles. This number has always stayed roughly between 73 and 76%, no matter what new updates have been shipped. So it's nice to see, and it's good to see that this has stayed stable. We probably don't need any more collectibles being produced until this number starts to climb, and we see a bottleneck start to happen and a supply crunch happen. But right now, very healthy action. Everything has been consistent over the past 60 days, over the past 2 weeks. Yes, there's movement, but it's relatively stable compared to where a lot of other projects are and compared to where we could be. So continue to watch that stability, continue to watch the burn rate, and as long as we don't see any swings, I doubt we'll see any massive changes with the production economy. So the primary economy, the secondary economy has been going well. They've been pretty well balanced out. Good job, Realmers. Good job, team. We will continue to provide more data, more stats. If there's anything you would like to hear about, anything you would like to know, please drop a comment on YouTube, on Twitter. Send me an email, wherever you would like. I'm always open to hearing what people would like to hear to help them better understand the economy. And that was Paralysis by Analysis. Now it's time for the Rankings Roundup. The standings have been scattered a lot since August ended, even in this 24 hours. I want to take a look at where the new month is starting. What happens is as soon as people hear the snapshot, everyone scatters their assets across realms, and the scores deflate a lot. So it's hard to give an exact picture of what it looked like at the end of August. And if we're preparing for September, let's take a look where you're going to need to be leading into it. Again, Harvester refineries 4 through 6 have just been powered up, and magic emissions for those have not been disclosed. The airdrop for August rewards have been completed. Right now in Tier 1, we have Wagme Friends all the way up in Rank 1 with 919, and the Juggernaut in second with 293, Illume in third with 281. So that is for Diamond Tier 1. It looks like if you would like to be in Diamond, then you will need to have a score of above 70. So right now, Tier 1, the floor for Diamond is 70, and the leader is at 919. Again, this is all subject to move a lot. In Tier 2, the Garrison is back in the lead at 1408, King's Landing at 613, and Buxton at 464. If you would like to be in Diamond in Tier 2, you will need to have a score of above 292.7. That is the floor for Diamond, with Smallville at 292.7. Again, this is all as of September 2nd around 2 p.m. UTC. Tier 3, the leader now, Hamhar at 1332, Pegasus at 1098.8, and the previous month's winner, Yuzion 2 in third at 107.15. If you would like to be in Diamond in Tier 3, you will need to have a score above the Juggernaut at 780.4. That is the floor for Tier 3 Diamond, 780.4. Tier 4, the Magic Harvester refineries. We have just started going. We have been in this for roughly 24 hours now, and we're going to see a lot of action. But right now, to start, in Tier 4, in first place for Diamond, there are only 2 Diamond spots. We have Far Gone at 248.5, and in second, Casino Night Zone 3 at 131. So if you want to be in Diamond for Tier 4 refineries, you will have to be above 131. If you would like to be in Platinum, you will have to be above 56. Tier 4. Tier 5 Harvester refineries. We only have 1 diamond and 2 platinums. Diamond rank, the Green Zone 2 at 252.5. In platinum, we have Broomland at 196 and Greensville at 89.5. So if you want to be in platinum or even diamond in tier 5, you will have to have above a score of 90. Tier 6, the God tier, the tier of legends, possibly thousands of magic rewards per month. There is only 1 diamond spot and 2 platinum spots, just like tier 5. First place, Nakameguro. Score 270 for diamond. So you want to be diamond in tier 6, you need to have 270. Both platinums, Eldegard at 118 and Sinahai at 24. So if you want to be platinum in tier 6, you need to have above 24. And if you want to be diamond, you have to be above 270. That was a quick summary of the rankings and where we're looking. I will have a lot more in the middle of the month update as people start to refine their strategies, as they start to see where they're going to push, where they're going to move. However, for right now, it's shaken up and we're starting from square one. Congrats to all of the August winners. I hope you're enjoying your prizes, and congrats to anybody competing in Realm. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and we hope you have fun. That was the Rankins Roundup. It is time for the Strategy Corner. I am very honored to have this person on today. Let's bring him in to this 100% live interview into this amazing studio. Alrighty. I am here with a Realm legend, a arcane wizard, and a overall collector of all things treasure, good.smol. How are you? Good?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, super excited, man. I know you've been very active in the Discord and been a big part of it, and we've been talking on the side a little bit, so I really wanted to have you here. And yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, we have a good side chat of what's going on, all things treasure, I would say, between even a little Void talk in there. Got to give a shout out to the Void.
Yeah, shout out to the Void, shout out to the Eyes of the Void.
That's right.
Yeah, God, I love that group. It's good people. Yeah, so yeah, thanks so much for coming on. I know we've been planning this for a bit. I was hoping to just take you through the format, ask you some questions, see what you think. And so to start off, if you don't mind, how did you get into Realm? How did you find it? What was your first buy, and what have you done over time?
Yeah, so I heard about it through an Astro AMA on the weekend it minted out, right? I think I was listening to it on a Friday. Devastating, though. I was all the way in like Pittsburgh for a wedding and had no access to my wallet that would have been the one I wanted to do it on. And so I was like, do I risk it all with my primary or try to get to my burner by the time it mints out? So I was like, let's play it safe, go for the burner. And then by the time I got home Sunday, they were gone. So, like a classic degenerate, went on to Too Fun NFT back then, and just started aping into probably 9 or 10 realms at the time. It was definitely gradual. I would say I started with probably like 1 or 2. And then just over time with the community kind of realized, and I would say Max being a big part of saying like at least getting to 10 at that point would be like a solid number. And so at that time you could bid on Too Fun NFT. So it was always fun at that point to go for, the low bids and cut them in half and see who was looking for liquidity. But from there, yeah, I just, bought into the refineries, the reactors. I got a few extra reactors beyond the 9 I needed, and I was able to flip those. And now I just sit on, right now it's 10 realms, 9 reactors, and 2 refineries, 1 tier 1 and then a tier 2 currently. Is what the bag's looking like in regards to realm, and then all the good collectibles.
Nice. So you're sitting on a decent bag. 10 realms ain't nothing to scoff at. I'd say it's pretty good.
Nice. I would say a nice mid to low tier. We've got some real whales. but I think it's a nice sweet spot for what I'm looking to do in the kind of community, and maybe grow it at some point. But I just don't know yet what the mechanics of refineries to collectible selling to realms that I really want to hit at.
And so is that what you've been kind of doing lately? Have you been building, or have you been collecting and selling, or saving up for, all the harvester refineries and all that are coming?
Yeah, so I would say month one, I went with one tier or one refinery per tier, and tried to play it just across the board and see what emissions I could get and kind of see what that layout would look like. I think I came out with maybe a diamond and like two platinums and a diamond, and so pretty well, did pretty solid. But I was kind of hoping for more. It's just those realms went up to tier ones, and tier threes I think went up to like 500 in the first month, and I was like, oh god, I was like, this is an eye-opening event. Like, I don't know if 10 will support this kind of output. And so into month two, there were the toads, and I was like, okay, that's like a nice, at the time, like a 450 floor price. I was like, that's worth putting some money into just one realm and just building it out, right? And I think at that point I was able to build right up to a Metropolis 1, right under there. What is that, a City 3, I think? And I had a nice stack of probably 7, and I just dumped them, everything below up until like 7 City 3s into one Tier 2. And that boosted the crap out of it, of course, right? With all those Town 1s that you can kind of leverage. And still couldn't even touch the first person of tier 2. So worth it. Got the emissions of diamond, but I was like, man, this is like, it is really eye opening what you can do with 10, right? And what the difference of you can do with 30 to 50 to God knows what Member Berries has got.
Do you remember what you got your score up to, like with that singular, like pushing a singular realm?
The singular push, I think, let me pull it up. I think it was probably around 315.
Okay.
350. It was above 300, which I was proud of myself, but I was like, man, I'm not scraping these 500s, right? And then, now it's a whole different number. So I would say month 3, I was like, okay, definitely noted. Emissions, they're solid, and if I want to at this point, I could probably get like a good class of diamonds. But I was like, tier 3 is just pretty tough, and then harvesters were coming out, and I was like, there goes some scarcity, and I kind of had an assumption that, a little speculation, that we might see a little bit of a dip, just like any economy, in those tier 3 refineries. So I was like, I need to kind of get this out the door if I don't want to play this level of the game and just stick with 2 and 1. And so I was lucky enough to get that out the door before yesterday. We were recording on the 24th. So the 23rd, when, we saw quite a dip, we went back to mint price, and I think one sold for what it kind of bond value almost is, right? They're going to get, I think they made $10 or 10 magic off of it. Right, because I think it went for 460. There's 450 in there.
Yep.
Or so they spent 10 magic on it, kind of a thing. So not a bad play right there, right? But I kind of saw it was coming for a little bit, and I don't believe, honestly, and this is not financial advice whatsoever, but all speculation, I think it comes back, right? Especially with more people get in churn, more functionality with AOVs, more people are going to see it, and the L2 push that I believe will come, especially with the Odyssey event. I think refineries go back to above mint, but to be honest, I just kind of wanted and if not, you get 90% back on top of the emissions that you can hit for whatever tier or level you can get within there, right? Whatever rank. So not a bad gig, but I just wanted to step back. And so then this last month, I know I'm on a ramble here, but just gone collection heavy, right? Just looking at that DeFi 6-day cycle. And I know people say like you can push it out farther, but I'm trying to do a little short-term burn, right? And go with the 6-day cycle and see really what multiples are people making, and seeing, some of them I'm taking bids, right? If I see a solid bid for Meteorite around 5, like I know I'm paying 1.25 Magic on that. And if I need the liquidity to play another move, it's worth it for me. And so I've been doing that. But then at the same time, keeping solid numbers when it comes to exotics. I think we always see a big push at the end of the month around those and legendary. And then in the back pocket, you got to play the nourishment card. There's a lot of AOVs coming, and beyond that, there's a lot of other adventurers, and then beyond that, there's toads and whatnot. And I think there's a lot of play in the nourishment, and they're pretty low right now. But I think they're going to be huge in the future for what the kind of demand needs for the supply that we have right now, even with season ones to come, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's going to become a really big deal down the road, especially when you think about 20,000 adventures plus seeds or, wizards, whoever is going to come in. So I think there's so much potential for so many variables. It's hard to account for at this point.
Yeah, I love the speculation game, especially with, that you just noted it, but we've kind of side chat talked about it. I mean, it's a perfect world kind of situation or speculation, but you got Arcane, who just got acquired by Life, right? And Life is trying to find, from my understanding, I never was really involved. It was always I know it was said that it was undervalued, but it was always overvalued for me. I mean, just in the standpoint that like it was over my bag limit. I didn't know enough to say if the utility was worth what the floor price was, and what real value or ROI.
And then you find out nobody did. No one actually knew if they're. No one still knows if they're properly valued.
But let's say if you do speculate this perfect world, from my understanding, they've got a good base. They have the Ear of Treasure. They just acquired Arcane, who Mist is out there just being a solo dev. Very similar to Jonah. I'm pretty sure he's on the Council of Realm. If whenever you look at the Discord,
but so.
He's out there creating an RPG, right, with loot-based collectibles in the sense of attachments of the mage. Life has these also as a characters, but I think why isn't Realm, or why couldn't Realm be the floor base or the land related to both of those? So it could be interesting, but I don't know. I think I like those kind of classes of games. Same thing with just giving Arcane a shout out. It's very nice to see a solo dev who's kind of code first, and you can tell at least for Jonah, right, very process oriented. He's building out the mechanics of the games, which we saw in season 0. Then season 1, we get the collection cycles, and we get kind of staking, and then now it's a whole new world of the different mechanics of what are the inflows and outflows of this economy. And I think it speaks to why we're seeing the art now, is because he built that economy to kind of get us a seat at the table based upon those process-oriented mechanics of playing this game, right? Because at the end of the day, there's Civilization 6 out there. I've never played the game, but supposedly it's got great art, it's got great mechanics, there's structures built out, but here's the thing is you don't own any of those assets. And so at the end of the day, you could put 3 years of your life into that and come out and sell nothing and do nothing with it. And so we're not going to have probably the same, I would say, we're never going to get to the point in the next 6 months, 7 months that we're having a Civilization 6, right? Where it's, animated building over a structural time, from my understanding. But what we do have is these processes of a game and the base of Civilization 6, and we own all those assets. And it's coming to the point where it's going to be cross-functional across multiple projects. And I think that's where the long-term speculation and the honest play for me comes, is that this is really an adaptive game that brings other people into Treasure, and not only to Treasure, but the key Treasure projects. Which is an interesting aspect of the metaverse, right?
And how long do you feel like it's taken you to start to form that image and understanding of Realm? I'm at, because for me, I find that obviously, it's crazy how far we've come in 6 months, but I feel like every time I get into something new, like my understanding of the base layer or of the connection between all of the different contracts. So how do you feel like your understanding of Realm has grown over time?
I think honestly, just adapting or playing with the technology within Realm, right? And trying to get my hands in reactors, refineries, collectibles, selling cities, building cities, prepping for arenas. I think trying a little bit of everything. I'm a little bummed I couldn't get a harvester. I think it's in my best interest, but even just having a harvester refinery, you see a different aspect, or you see a different cycle, or as John Pat likes to say, a flywheel, right? And so I think touching everything in Realm, but also, going out, and I just got a Legion, and so I'm learning how to quest, right, and do that bridge world stuff. I think touching other games with similar natures, like I think that's a good way to kind of get around the contracts and get an understanding of what's going on, right? I'm not some tech smart contract dude, but I love the strategy and this how much you can speculate in Realm.
Are you
Is kind of
you're a
fun.
spreadsheets person?
I am looking at my spreadsheet. I will be honest. I did fall kind of off the charts, I would say, and get away from the spreadsheet this past month and collectible. Probably the most time I should be checking the spreadsheets. But I've just kind of gotten away from it and just kind of stared at, that DeFi chart, that 6 day cycle. I literally look at that probably every time I open up Trove, just to see what bids are out there, what my floor prices are at, and just what's the, in my head, kind of mental math, what's the return on investment that I'm making.
And so what what has been that return for you personally? Not in terms of like a single number, but have you used that magic to add things, or have you bought more realms with it? Like, what have you used your, let's say, profits for?
Yeah, I think two things is putting it back into Realm. I've done a lot of, you know, I have bought collectibles, and whatnot, and I do try to, even if, like today I collected at 10 o'clock. I definitely go for the exotics when I can, even if I don't need them, right? And I spend the magic, and I try to go through that. But a lot of it also is just sitting on it for kind of what's to come with magic, and seeing the prices right now, and knowing that harvesters are right now happening. The halving should happen. Odyssey's coming. So I do want to sit on a bag of magics for future kind of cycles. But also, lastly, is just I have bought a brain, right? I didn't come in with a small brain. I was able to do that through Realm. It was a big goal of mine in Realm, is to work my way up and sell. I didn't know if I was going to be selling realms or how I would do it, but use Realm to get me a small brain, and it's definitely done that. I was able to get small land. I got a room from like the OG days playing. I think it was like the first game night we had,
Nice.
and people were just like throwing random magic stuff in. And so, I think it was the first. It was the first art contest. That's right. When I'm not an artist, but it just shows you how small the community was. Small the community was at the time.
Well,
So yeah,
congratulations. That's, dude, getting a small brain and working your way up there. That's amazing. Congrats on that.
yeah, it's been very rewarding to do that, and I think there's more to come. Right, I just think there's going to be more to that point of like how process oriented this development is, and the gameplay is. There's just going to be more opportunities. Like I'm looking right now at my screen, and I just see all this nourishment, and I'm just can't wait for those AOVs, because to your population talk with Max is, those populations get eaten up pretty easily. But what also gets eaten up is to the point of the overpowerment of nourishment. If it was a prime, there's going to be, thousands of AOVs, including ourselves, right? I'm going to have 10 come to me. I'm going to need nourishment. So I can't imagine what that sink or what that will look like after we get season ones and they've kind of burned through a little bit.
Right, because yeah, you're also gonna have people burning more for the harvester refinery competition, right? Because population boosts are active in that, and we have to figure out this the HP restore, I guess, effect within adventures, which I know Jonah has said he will hit on in the next AMA, renown and nourishment HP reboosting. So there's so many syncs coming, and I do like what memers always says, which is, eventually it's going to be hard to run like more than a few realms on your own.
Yeah, no, I definitely think, especially with what happens to Magic, and as the value of Magic itself increases, right? It's going to be more difficult to collect in itself, right? I think I spent 47 or 55 Magic today to get all my collectibles. I can't imagine in the all-time high days of 6 how that would feel, right?
It's crazy to think about, and then you put like that and all of the speculation against the prime convergence coming up, right? Because whatever they choose can literally change the values of all of the collectibles on the marketplace overnight, right? We think it's going to be aquatic. People are stacking up. Boom, there's an earthen push. It could change the values of everything quickly. Have you contributed to the prime convergence yet?
I have not done as much. I think I did like 15, right? Pretty much no numbers. I think I'm impressed with what is it technology? Who I think is it Tex? I
Tech
know
has been
Aquatic
catching up.
catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty impressed with what Tech's been doing to catch up. I think that first Aquatic like 1900 drop, I was just like, oh, okay. So I don't know what's going on there, but I can't. I don't know if I can. And so I think the technology shows, and maybe it's that money guild, or cash sign guild, but if it is, I think that's awesome, and I think the social ingenuity of kind of pushing that through could be something cool to watch with the remaining days of of August. Um, but I think it's a tough one too, right? With 10 realms, I do have a hard time burning any. I would say,
Yeah, burning money or burning
yeah,
collectibles, like burning a valuable asset in some form that it is. Yeah, it's tough. And at this point I'm just trying to like leverage to no matter what happens, I'm have like at least one realm that can produce exotics of everything. Are you set up that like do you have an exotic of every single type or what are you sitting on?
yeah. I've got. If I'm looking, I will look at my sheet. So I'm looking. I got an exotic of every type, and then I've got some nice rares. Like I got a Valley Tundra, which I'm a big fan of. Got a volcano, and then it looks like I got another valley, and then I got an ocean. So I've got some nice wine supply. I've got overall. It looks like all geo count. I go technology with 10, nourishment with 7, aquatic with 8, and then earthen with 4. But some of those are doubles. So
Okay, but it's a
right,
good
those
it's a good
good
balance
numbers,
across
but
the
yeah.
board. So what are you pulling for in the convergence? Sorry.
Oh, I got no skin. Honestly,
Ooh,
I
okay.
feel like I will be honest. I've terraformed. I can't. I didn't want to sit around to see if doubles boosted, and I thought that if I'm going under the speculation that in the future, I'm sitting on a rare, it's just as likely of a chance that I'm gonna terraform into a rare, and so mine as well. Anything I saw a double. I automatically grabbed, the double geo count native, and try to terraform it into something else so we can get diversity going.
Smart. So you got are all of your realms three different geos then? If has it kind of worked out that way?
No, so sadly it didn't work out perfect. I got one double technology, two double technologies, nourishment. I got probably 4 doubles, which kind of stings.
Yeah, and I've been like debating whether I should get rid of mine or not, but I just can't bring myself to sell one of my realms that's been with me for a while.
Yeah, I think especially those who've been from like the when we were trading in ETH denoted switching to Magic too. I think I don't know if I just see so much value in my to
I
be
mean, for
honest.
me also, there was a point where we were spending like $2 in gas fees, like every single time or more. I mean, I must have spent so much. I'm like, I'm keeping this realm just for the gas fees I put into it alone. This is not going anywhere, even though I can't stand the name. I
I know.
don't even want to put it on here, but I can't stand some of my names.
I
Um,
remember we were like it was before we were on Treasure, right? It was Trove wasn't out yet, and Treasure was down, which reduced the collection price. And it was like, I really want them to adopt us and bring them in, but you know what? This is very nice on my collection TX. So
yes.
a little love hate right there.
But it happened, and for the better now.
Yeah, so I think from a high level, I'm super stoked. I love the economy. I think it's not really seen as much, or maybe it's just we're a quieter community, but the economy is thriving. I don't know. I check activity all day, every day since this last month. Before I was checking leaderboards, which I can tell you, building is thriving if you haven't taken a look. So it's interesting, and I think season things like there's so much things to still speculate, because to this process there has to be more mechanics. Do we even understand what AOV's questing is going to be like, right? What's the loot? What's the loot they get? And season one, what will that do to the collections? I'm sitting on 231, which I thought was good, but I mean people are sitting on huge stacks. So I think prime convergence events, next quarter is going to be, it's going to be like a harvester's war. It's going to be very, very interesting to see the burn rate, because I bet you some of them are looking at the ratios and they're like, I could make a killing off of technology, but we're just sitting here in earthen. Uh, what am I doing?
So much speculation. We have AOVs coming. We have the questing. I know questing was changed a bit. It used to. I don't see the geo relation on the docs anymore. In terms of like you have to have a specific geo to go. I think it's by level now. So there's so much stuff changing, and there's so many new future strategies. I mean, is there any like gambles you're considering taking, like maybe whether producing or collecting something or buying something just to see if one of your hunches is right?
No, I think my big gamble is gonna be figuring out what's my build, what's my like keep of collections to what's my sell, and I think I need to find a better ratio of that before I'm looking at a barren, barren realm with zero structures. So I think my right now my rule of thumb ratio of just keeping tier two and diamond and selling the rest is okay, because it keeps me in the competition for the realm I'm trying to build out as my come adventure here realm.
And T2's so great too. I mean, I think that's the one I wish I was in, right? The least amount of people. I mean, yeah, it's top heavy, but it's pretty well balanced for the rewards. Uh but yeah, so where do you know what place you're at right now in there?
Yeah, I just sit in diamond. I think I'm like literally almost the last diamond.
Nice. Towing it,
What?
towing the
Yeah.
line.
Oh yeah. Oh, I taper, and I still have all my boosts, so I'm okay.
Nice.
But I just got a caveat how much I want to sell my cities for, and go to my chart, see what's my return. But yeah, I do think we have to remember, right? Um, the reason we have such a solid game is because we have such a dev code centric leader, and maybe over time, as we continue this economy and we get more money in their pocket and the team's pocket, I think we see better announcements. And even with those teams, right? I work in corporate finance. I see communication and transparency issues all the time, and these people call them self professionals in this regard, or this specialty of press releases and whatnot. So it's always going to happen, no matter where you're at, no how big it is. But I think we also have to remember, we're all early, and the reason these devs are here is because they're super early, because it didn't take Jonah just a couple months to make this, and so it's building out that team, kind of like Max said, is where we're going to see more of this better communication and understanding of, hey, the crypto market's changing as a whole. So the whole timing kind of convention, right? And I think you see that, right? And we're kind of adapting to that with the AOV and is it Nova, right? Nova release of
Yes.
Arbitron. And so I think stuff like that is, a gleaming light of, hey, we are going towards the right direction, and you can see it in our project base, oriented release structure of what we're going to tell the public. But I think we also see that like with talking about season 1 collectibles and portals. At that point, the community was so tight knit and we were so close that it was like Monday, Tuesday, give alpha, right? It was like, give it. And Jonah was like, okay, I'll give it to you. And so we know what's kind of coming down the line, but I think setting a timeline to that we're going to have to be, fluid in nature. And I think our community is pretty open to that and responsive.
Yeah, I think we have one of the best communities for that, and like you said, right, it all takes time. Technology improves. I mean, we're at 6 months ago, we were clicking like a button one time every 6 days, right, without really anything else going on. I mean, my buddy and I were talking about how like 10 years ago you had to pay to send over like 250 text messages in a month.
So true.
Right, like
Wow.
technology improves, it gets faster, it gets cheaper as long as the people building are doing what they need to, and that's why I admire Jonah so much. I mean, it's got to be crazy building on your own in this industry and just having a vision and just sticking to it no matter what anyone else says. And I admire him so much. I can't imagine being like a single dev building a project all by yourself with just these like hundreds of just insane degens like in your Discord being like, give me waifus, and you're like, hey man, I'm building like a generational company here, so like give me a second.
Yeah, this waifu is like an adaptive, continually growing, but also reductive in sense of changing, NFT. But I'll give it to you tomorrow. No worries,
Exactly.
right? Like you
Exactly. It
don't
only
know
took
of
me like
anything
two
that does
months to
this.
build this few lines of code, but don't worry. As soon as you guys want it, I'll deliver it. And I love that he's never given a shit. He's never like lost it on the community. Just understands like we're all here because I mean, honestly, we got nothing else to do, but we also love it. So I love that with Jonah. And to ask you like one of the end questions, I know I asked Max as well, and I love asking everyone that's involved. Out of a place of love, what is something you think the team could do a little bit better?
Better. Yeah, I think that it just comes same thing. It's that we just kind of noted on. It's just working on what is communicated externally, and then timing maybe of doing such. I think what is not to do a bad, but with a good kind of interview answer. But I think when the team sees the faults, just like the harvesters, they made a ramification, and maybe it's not to the standards that people want, right? But at the same time, there's parameters of the harvesters that life's going to, and so that means Realm has to abide by, and so we had some sort of mitigating impact to that lack of announcement or transparency, I guess. But I think that just speaks to we got to grow and we got to get money into the development and the team's pocket so that we have someone that just handles PR and they're just releasing it on a scheduled basis, right? And that's in line with what's going on in the dev workshop. And even the artist workshop, if it has related art associated to it. And so it's just, I think getting that communication down. And so maybe I guess, the root cause is that is just making sure that all lines are open between all team members, kind of a thing. Right.
Yeah. Communication. On the other end of that question, what are you most excited for and what do you love most about Realm?
Yeah, what I would say I'm most excited for is I'm going to go with I'm interested to see what happens with this AOV release. And my whole play of getting myself into crypto and then, kind of diving into the GameFi aspect of it is, the adoption of such, technology. And I think that these AOVs are going to be a huge rail of adoption from different projects, from L2 Treasure. Hopefully, if we could get some L1 somehow, that would be crazy awesome. But I just think, throughout the community, this is going to expand it and see what happens to our Discord. I'm pretty excited. I've been waiting for that moment I've been hinting at it for months, but I just think one day we're going to walk into that Discord and it's just going to be a madhouse. Of just like AO. And I know, like, I kind of take the perspective of what John says about what a metaverse is. And, in a sense, like, Realm is a metaverse, right? We have, the only thing we don't really have is like centralized ID. We're about to have, living characters that flow around a structure which is governed, and there's a thriving economy around it. So, how that's not a metaverse. But, looking at the Discord as the community kind of town hall, I just think once all those AOVs get in there and all the different aspects, it's kind of like that Ready Player One when they go into all the portals, right? That's kind of what I image our Discord will be like, maybe.
Yeah, bullish on Realm. Some bullish statements from good.smol on Realm here. But I think you'd have to be pretty bullish on Realm to come on this podcast in the first place. So I assume that's implied for most listeners.
Valid.
Thank you so much for coming on, Good. Before we head out and end this, any closing remarks, any shout-outs you want to give to some of the old Realmers out there? Anything you want to say, let the people know?
Let the people know.
Like The Rock, man, you got to be the people's champ. Let the people know.
No, I think no shout out specifically because I'm gonna forget people and I don't want to do that. But shout out to the community. I think we're killing it. I think continue the adoption and helping of the other community members. But I think at the same time, right, remember that we're all here to get magic, right? And we are world building. But to continue world building in the future, you got to take profits, because to put money back into Realm, you need to have money. And so I think that's something we need to remember. And don't be scared to bid. Don't be scared to do any, there's money to be made, and you got to keep having it to keep playing. And so I think that's just something to remember, because at some points, myself included, I was just not taking profits in crypto alone. And it was, when things go down bad, that sucks. And so being able to take where you can, I think is going to give you legs and longevity in this game. And that's what you want. Because like I said, more metrics or more processes to play and bring more people are on the way. So you don't want to kind of burn out now.
Absolutely. Oh, man, such great stuff. Yeah, again, good.smol, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I know you got a busy schedule and a busy life. So thank you for coming on the Realmverse podcast with 2 O's. And yeah, it's been awesome to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on, good.smol. It was an honor to have you, and I hope everyone else enjoyed the interview too. It's always a pleasure. Let's wrap this up. Alrighty, we had the prizes for August rewards handed out. The small brain winners, Uzion 2, Land of Borit, and Arbitrum. The Knights of the Ether and Squire winners, I Am the Captain Now, Broomland, Buxton the Garrison, Objectia, and Simbebuxland. Congratulations to everyone that qualified and placed in the refinery wars and competitions. Congratulations on your airdrop. The mint is live. Whitelist, you can mint for free, but must pay 0.069 ETH if you would like to transfer or sell it. Public mint for 0.069 ETH is live, so please go get your adventures. Waifus, husbandos, they are here. Do not fade the waifus. Go get your own. Harvester refineries have started. They are fired up. The competition is going. There's going to be a lot of magic on the line, so we will be here and documenting this white knuckle thrill ride and seeing what happens. The Prime Convergence has ended in the most beautifully bloody way possible. Technology will be the next Prime collectible. They have emerged victorious. Nitro has shipped. The new UI has shipped. Again, check down in the description for the link. Quick shout out to any Realmers out there going through it, trying to figure out what you're doing. Grumpy, Christacular, Captive, Andes, any of y'all out there, anybody else wants a shout out, let me know. Thank you again to good.smol for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. Next week, I'm hoping to have the Memer Berries on. The legend, the god, the overlord, the peacekeeper of Realm. We've been talking. We're looking to nail down a date. And I think we could talk to him. Might be a long conversation. Might have some things we need to discuss with the Giga Brain. But it's looking like we're going to have Memer Berries on next week. So thank you, Memer Berries, for making a tentative commitment. Again, next podcast, middle of the month, September 15th. We will have it out, so be on the lookout for the mid-September update coming after this. And also, if anybody wants to support the Realm, you want to support the podcast, come over. We wouldn't mind having you at Land of the Big Head Bear. We got any adventures? 4282 Land of the Big Head Bear. Would love to have some adventures. Come hang out, play some games, do some work, maybe grow some flowers. Who knows? Thank you so much for everything. It was an incredible month. Realmers, Jonah, DeFi, Topper, the team, the mods. This has been a blast to document and a blast to be a part of. Again, this is the End of August Update 2022. I am your host, the Big Head Bear, and this has been the Realmverse Podcast. See you in the next one.
The Realmverse Podcast.